Some doors don't creak, they shatter open in silence, and only those listening deeply will ever hear the explosion. If lately you've felt the urge to be alone, like the world's noise suddenly became unbearable, like something invisible was asking you to disappear, don't ignore it. That's not anxiety, that's alignment, that's a whisper from the unseen trying to pull you out of the crowd before something powerful lands. And let this be clear from the start. The final 3 days of May are not like any other days on the calendar. They are a spiritual pressure point, subtle to the unaware, but seismic to those tuned in. Most people won't notice until it's too late. But if you do, if you move right, you might unlock something that shifts the entire course of your reality. Have you ever seen birds vanish seconds before a storm? That's not coincidence. It's instinct. That's what your soul is doing right now, pulling back before something invisible strikes. These final days aren't here to entertain you. They're here to test your frequency. And the worst mistake you can make is thinking nothing is happening just because the sky is quiet. The universe hides its loudest messages in silence. These 3 days are not made for socializing. They're made for decoding, for receiving. And if you surround yourself with static energy, people who drain you, conversations that numb you, you will miss the transmission. And when you miss it, you don't get it back. Because not all doors reopen. Some were meant for one crossing only. What's coming isn't about fear, but it does demand respect. Think of this window like a sacred vault cracking open for a brief moment. And inside that vault, a blueprint meant only for you, but it won't be handed over casually. It needs solitude, it needs stillness, it needs proof that you're ready. Because clarity doesn't shout, it arrives like smoke. If you're not paying attention, it slips through your fingers. Forever. Don't make the mistake of waiting until life hits you to wake up. These 3 days are offering you a backstage pass to your next chapter, but you have to choose isolation like a warrior chooses armor. You don't do it for comfort, you do it for protection. Because yes, something is about to arrive, but only those who are empty enough to receive it, silent enough to feel it, will even know it touched them. Before we dive deeper, take one moment to act with intention. If you're already feeling the shift, if your body knows something's off, even when your mind can't explain it, then drop the number 77 in the comments right now. Not just to align yourself, but to help echo this message to those still stuck in the noise. Like, subscribe, share this signal, because someone close to you may need this message more than they'll ever admit. Now take a breath, because what's happening beneath the surface is about to make everything look different. Reality is recalibrating, and you're either in tune with it, or you're in its way. Chapter 1. These final 3 days are not the end. They are the initiation. It is not the end. In fact, it's the exact opposite. What feels like stillness is not silence. It's suspense. You've made it this far for a reason, and now you stand at the threshold of something that doesn't speak in language, but in vibration. The last 3 days of May are not a countdown. They are a calling. And what's waiting for you doesn't show up like a firework. It shows up like a door, one that only opens if you're quiet enough to hear the lock click. What's forming behind the curtain of your life isn't obvious. It won't knock. It won't yell. It will enter like a shadow across water, seen only by those paying attention. There is a pattern being revealed, a sequence, like the unfolding of a secret code. It won't use signs. It will use circumstances. It will use timing. You won't get a warning. You'll get a moment. And that moment will test if you were listening all along. You might be asking, why now? Why these specific days? Because not all time is created equal. Some days are hollow on purpose, carved out by the universe to hold higher messages. These are not ordinary dates. They are designed chambers, energetic gateways with exact functions. May 29th, 30th, and 31st form a triad. And you, whether you realize it or not, are walking through an invisible ritual. But only if you don't run through it like everyone else. May 29th is the first gate, the mind. On this day, your thoughts will not behave. They'll jump, loop, sharpen. It may feel like mental chaos or like sudden brilliance, but don't resist it. Don't silence it. Your job isn't to fix your mind. Your job is to observe what keeps repeating, because what echoes in your thoughts is trying to surface for rewiring. This is not noise, it's a map. What feels like mental clutter is actually coded instruction. Let it speak. Then comes May 30th, the body. This day shifts everything into your physical form. You may feel tired for no reason, or like lightning is moving through your veins. Food may feel off, sounds too loud. Your senses become hyper-tuned. This is not illness, it's intelligence. Your body is picking up signals your mind can't decode. Don't fight it, don't rush it, just feel it. Like a tuning fork, your system is being struck into resonance. By May 31st, you enter the last chamber, the spirit. And here, logic fails. This isn't a day to figure things out. This is the moment when silence becomes a translator. If you honored the mind and the body, this day delivers the message. But it may not be in words. It may be a feeling, a knowing, a dream. A stillness so heavy it feels like gravity itself shifted. What you receive on this day doesn't just add something new. It removes what never belonged. This sequence, mind, body, spirit, is not a coincidence. It's a sacred climb, a staircase that exists once a year. If you skip a step, the gate doesn't open. If you rush, you miss the whisper. You are not being asked to solve anything. You are being asked to attune. Like a musician tuning their instrument before the first note, you're preparing to resonate with what June is about to unleash. Because June won't wait for you to catch up. It will unfold like a storm, and you'll either move with it or get swept by it. Ask yourself this now. Are you truly listening? Or are you still trying to control the noise? Because only one of those will unlock what's next. Chapter 2. Why these final days must be walked alone. And now that you understand the gates, mind, body, spirit, you must also understand how to walk through them. These aren't just symbolic steps, they're sacred movements, and sacred movements demand sacred preparation. You cannot storm through these days like any other. You must treat them like a ritual, because if you don't, the doors might stay closed, even if you're standing right in front of them. This is not about choosing solitude because it feels peaceful. It's about choosing it because it's required. There are places your soul is meant to visit in silence, places too fragile to survive the weight of conversation, too sacred to be exposed to noise. These final 3 days are not made for multitasking or sharing your every moment. They are a sanctuary, a chamber of alignment. And you don't bring the world into a sanctuary. You enter alone, or you don't enter at all. Each day speaks in its own language. Each one asks for a different kind of stillness. And if you honor them like a ritual, if you move through them with presence, with reverence, something inside you won't just shift. It will awaken. This isn't about waiting for a sign. The ritual is the sign. The silence is the signal. And what comes to you in this stillness? You're not meant to broadcast it to the world. Not yet. If an image flashes in your mind, if a strange dream lingers when you wake, if a moment feels heavier than it should, don't rush to translate it. Don't package it for people to understand. Some messages are meant to marinate before they become meaning. They're not tweets, they're seeds. And seeds don't bloom in the spotlight. They bloom underground, hidden, protected, still. What you receive in these days is meant to grow within you, not be shown by you. This is not disconnection, this is spiritual safekeeping. Silence for now is not emptiness, it's armor. It's the echo chamber where your truth forms shape. So treat these final days like a sacred rite, one you walk without noise, without need, without show, because when you emerge on the other side, the world will feel different, not because it changed, but because you did. Chapter 3. May 30th, the day that hears you back. If May 29th shakes the mind and May 31st opens the spirit, then May 30th is the beating heart between them. It's not loud, but it's alive. This day doesn't arrive like thunder. It arrives like a frequency, a vibration that sinks into your bones before your mind has time to explain it. It doesn't shout, it resonates. And if you're silent enough, you'll realize it's not just a date, it's a drumbeat echoing through your nervous system. There's a reason why time feels strange on this day, why the air feels denser, why your breath feels louder, why even your own thoughts feel like they're bouncing back louder than usual. That's because May 30th isn't just another 24 hours. It's a mirror, a tuner, a pulse check from the universe itself. What you send out, emotion, fear, longing, clarity, gets amplified and sent back to you like sonar. It's not punishing you. It's scanning you, not to judge, but to align. You may find yourself overwhelmed by emotion for no obvious reason, or feeling sudden bursts of energy that seem to vanish as quickly as they came. You might see patterns, numbers repeating, symbols recurring, people or places flashing into your thoughts like déjà vu. This is not random. This is not glitch. It's calibration. You are being asked not to react, but to receive. The danger today is in trying to make it logical. May 30th isn't meant to be solved. It's meant to be felt. This day doesn't ask you to act. It asks you to tune. You are the instrument. This moment is the note. Your job is to adjust, not force, not control, just notice, just sync. Some days are still. This day breathes. And whether or not you acknowledge it, it already knows who you are. It already knows what you've been holding, what you've been hiding, what you're ready to receive. The question is, can you be quiet enough to hear it? Can you feel the rhythm beneath the noise? Because May 30th isn't just listening for you, it's listening to you. Chapter 4. When the veil breaks, the hidden messages in your dreams. The nights between May 29th and 31st aren't like the others. Something opens, something ancient. While the world sleeps, the veil thins, and what usually stays buried beneath the surface begins to speak. But it doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in dreams, not the kind you forget by breakfast, not the kind that fade like fog. These dreams linger, they echo, they arrive like messengers from a dimension that doesn't need your understanding, just your attention. You might wake up with entire conversations still ringing in your ears. You might see symbols that feel older than your memory. You might dream of people long gone, some you haven't seen in years, others you've never met but somehow know. You may dream of places that don't exist on any map but feel more familiar than your own home. This isn't imagination. This is transmission. And these aren't just stories your mind is telling itself. These are briefings from the other side of the veil. The mistake most people make is trying to decode too quickly, to Google, to analyze, to turn mystery into meaning. But some truths weren't built for instant clarity. They weren't meant to be solved. They were meant to be absorbed. Let the dream sit. Let it unfold inside of you like a slow fire. Don't demand answers. Let it become part of your awareness, silently altering how you see, how you feel, how you act. And if your dreams feel silent, don't panic. That silence may be echoing in your waking life. Because during these sacred windows, the boundary between the dream world and the day collapses. The dream bleeds through. You may feel strange waves of knowing, emotional spikes without logic, déjà vu that hits like a shockwave. That's the dream speaking to you in disguise. You're not making it up. You're being tuned. What you see now in dreams, whether vivid or fragmentary, beautiful or terrifying, isn't just for now. It's a seed. And when June arrives, those seeds might start showing up in your physical life. So treat these dreams with reverence. They are not accidents. They are not fluff. They are encrypted instructions, and only the silent will hear them clearly. Chapter 5. The Moth Effect, when the past returns to pull you forward. Not every thought that returns is a memory. Some are signals, some are messengers dressed as obsessions. And just because a thought loops back into your mind again and again doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're being summoned. Because the universe has its own way of checking if you're listening, and one of the loudest ways it speaks is through repetition. This is what I call the moth effect. Just like a moth is pulled toward a flame it doesn't fully understand, your consciousness is being drawn toward unresolved energy. A moment you left behind, a person you never got to finish a sentence with, a possibility you almost reached for. You feel it again not because you're weak or lost, but because you're aligned enough now to see it differently. What once felt unfinished is circling back with new instruction. You're not revisiting the past, you're being called to rewrite it. And that feeling you keep trying to ignore, that thought that haunts you in the shower, in traffic at 2 a.m., that's not noise, that's not failure, that's resonance. Your mind repeats what your soul is ready to face, and you'll notice it doesn't shout. It hovers, like a moth fluttering at your window. Software, subtle, persistent. It doesn't go away until you acknowledge the light it's trying to show you. So before you label it as overthinking, ask yourself, what if this is the part of me that never got to speak? What if this is a version of me knocking to come home? This isn't regression, this is reclamation. The return of the thought is the return of the power you left behind with it. The loops are not distractions, they are directions. What you're circling now is not pulling you backward. It's offering you a deeper alignment. Don't swat it away like a fly. Let it hover, let it glow. Some thoughts don't die because they're not meant to. They evolve. And this time, if you stay present, you might finally hear what they were trying to say all along. So when something circles back, don't panic. Pay attention. That's not madness. That's your transformation trying to land. Chapter 6. The Empty Chair. When the universe makes room for what's coming. Sometimes the silence you feel isn't loneliness. It's preparation. And that eerie emptiness you've been sensing lately. It isn't about who left. It's about what's arriving. It's not a void. It's a signal. There is a moment, quiet but heavy, when everything feels like it's holding its breath. And you're standing in a room, maybe even surrounded by people, but there's this strange sense that something or someone is missing. You can't name it. You can't explain it, but you can feel the shape of it in the air. That is the empty chair. The empty chair isn't about absence. It's about readiness. It shows up when your energy field starts preparing for new presence, whether that's a new person, a new path, or a forgotten part of yourself that's finally returning. But here's the catch. Most people get uncomfortable with that kind of space. They panic. They rush to fill it. With noise, with people, with distractions, and in doing so, they unknowingly block the very thing that space was preparing to receive. Don't do that. Don't fill what the universe is still shaping. The empty chair is not a punishment, it's a cradle, a spiritual placeholder, and what's meant to sit there will arrive when the timing is sacred, not convenient. Think of it like setting the table before the guest arrives. You don't invite them in while you're still throwing clutter around. You create space. You let that space mean something. The empty chair might be calling in a new connection, or maybe it's something deeper, a higher version of you that's been waiting for a silent enough moment to come home. We often think evolution roars in with clarity, but sometimes it slips in quietly into the space you were brave enough to leave untouched. Ever felt like your life was on pause for no reason? Like you're in between chapters but the next page won't turn? That's the chair. It's the universe gently saying, wait, something's coming. Don't move too fast. And this is where most people break. Because holding space takes faith. It takes maturity. It takes the ability to sit in a room where nothing seems to be happening and trust that something is, just not yet revealed. There is a sacred intelligence in this stillness. And when you honor the chair instead of resisting it, you send a signal out into the field. I am ready. I will not settle. I will not force. That readiness becomes a beacon, and eventually what was once invisible begins to materialize. Sometimes the presence that fills that chair isn't a person, it's you. A version of you that was fragmented by past pain, that drifted off during trauma, that got buried under years of pretending. And now, in the silence you've finally honored, that version returns. Whole, complete, ready to merge. Don't ruin the arrival by reaching for noise. Let the space breathe. Let the chair remain sacred. And when it's time, you'll feel it. The right presence always knows exactly when to sit down. Until then, sit with it. Respect it. Watch the chair, not with desperation, but with reverence, because it's not just empty, it's becoming. Chapter 7. The Final Choreography. Before June, align or be left behind. You are not standing at the end, you're standing at the edge of ignition. The final 3 days of May are not about finishing something. They're about readying your soul for a rhythm you haven't danced to yet. May 29th to 31st aren't passive calendar dates. They're your spiritual cue sheet. A sacred rehearsal, a cosmic countdown. What's coming in June won't slow down for you to catch up. It's not going to explain itself. It will arrive. And if you're not aligned, it won't miss you by a mile. It'll miss you by a second. A single beat off, and the entire rhythm feels wrong. These final days are not asking for action. They're demanding awareness. Because June isn't a soft opening. It's a curtain rise. And the stage is already being set, not outside you, but inside you. Right now, the tempo is being tested. Your internal metronome is syncing to something higher, something unseen, something realer than the noise you've been surviving in. Think of it like this. Right before the orchestra begins, the conductor lifts their hand and the entire room holds its breath. No one moves. No one speaks. That pause, that impossible stillness, that's where you are right now. The universe is lifting its hand, and how well you sit in that stillness will decide how fluidly you move in the storm that follows. Most people will try to power through these days. They'll ignore the urge to slow down. They'll distract themselves, rush into plans, numb the silence. But the ones who know, they'll turn inward. They'll switch off the noise. They'll breathe with the pulse instead of running from it, because deep down they understand something massive is shifting. And when it drops, it won't wait for explanations. It will test if you're ready to respond, not react. To move, not flinch. You might feel it already, the tension, the silence that somehow feels louder than any chaos. It's not just in your head, it's in your field. Your body knows something's approaching. Maybe you've been tired for no reason. Maybe your dreams feel heavier. Maybe you've had moments of clarity that arrive like thunder and vanish just as fast. That's the briefing. That's the preparation. Don't ignore it. This is not a time to push forward recklessly. It's a time to hold your position. Let the phone stay off. Let the to-do list sit unfinished. Let the world spin while you find your own center of gravity. Because what's coming is not about doing more, it's about being precise. And that precision only forms in stillness. So ask yourself, are you preparing or are you pretending? Because life is about to accelerate. And when June hits, you'll feel it. It will move like lightning through everything that's unaligned. Your routines, your relationships, your thoughts. It will highlight what's false and amplify what's real. And the ones who rushed through the silence, they'll feel lost, behind, out of rhythm. But you don't have to be one of them. If you treat these days with reverence, if you move through them like a dancer awaiting the downbeat, if you listen deeply and let the quiet become your compass, then when the curtain rises, you'll know exactly where to stand. Not by guessing, not by luck, but because you trained for it in the dark. May 29th to 31st are not for display. They are for refinement, for recalibration. This is your private appointment with the unseen. A divine dress rehearsal for a performance you didn't even realize you'd been cast in. You don't need applause. You need alignment. You don't need spotlight. You need clarity. Because once the lights come up, it's too late to prepare. So don't waste this window. Let these days become your ritual. Let the quiet become your mentor. Sit with the silence, not because you enjoy it, but because you respect it. Because on the other side of this stillness is motion. And not just any motion, the kind that reshapes your path, your identity, your purpose. You've been asking for change. You've been praying for clarity. You've been aching for a breakthrough. This is that moment, but it doesn't arrive in noise. It arrives in choreography. And if you move with it, the life you've been chasing might finally start moving toward you. Be ready. Listen hard. Because June doesn't ask. It reveals. And now, as we stand on the edge of June, ask yourself, will you be ready, or will you be late by a moment that changes everything? If this message stirred something deep inside you, it wasn't by accident. This was meant to reach you. Let the silence guide you now. Let it shape you. And if you're walking this path with awareness, drop the number 77 in the comments to anchor your alignment and signal your readiness. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the reminder. The performance is coming, and your soul already knows the steps.